Möchtest du einen Zaubertrick sehen?
Ja.
Das ist kaputt. Schon seit meiner Kindheit.
Ich werde schreien und ihm das Gesicht zerkratzen.
Dieses Gesicht.
You are the grabber. I mean, it's a sinister role. Where did you draw inspiration to portray the grabber as he is?
Scott Derrickson is really a great leader. You need somebody who understands the genre you're working in. You know, in the life of an actor, one of the things that I love to do is put myself in different environments. I don't think I'm so good that I can just give lots of different performances, but what I can do is, well, I could be in a Western and that'll make me a different kind of actor. I can be in a scary movie, I can be in an art film. I can do different kinds of movies because I understand the math of storytelling. If something is well written, then I can just play the notes and hope that it takes care of itself. I've played a lot of wonderful human beings, and it seemed like, well, it might be time to play a truly despicable human being. Someone with absolutely no redeeming. You know, like when you watch a computer short circuit, I felt like his brain was just short circuiting, like the wires did not connect. And that's just how I played it.
Haben Sie diesen Jungen gesehen?
Mein Bruder, er wurde entführt.
Von einem Mann mit schwarzen Luftballons.
Ich habe von ihm geträumt.
When Finney gets abducted, the horror really starts to unfold in the movie, but both siblings had their fair share of horrible times growing up. How do they still have hope with all these new obstacles?
I feel like because they rely on each other so much and they would tell each other everything, it kind of gives them hope not to give up on Finney getting out and Gwen searching for him.
Yeah, they kind of, you know, complete each other, so. Mason,
a lot of your scenes take place in that claustrophobic basement. How was your feeling when you first walked on set?
Well, it's a lot bigger in person, you know, it's about 12 feet tall.
It does look so small in the movie.
Yeah, it's really big. The funny story is, so before we actually started filming is they had my measurements so they could make the basement a certain height. And I grew a bit, so they had to raise the basement 12 inches. So that kind of sucked for them. But yeah, the basement, it was honestly really fun.
When did you first come across the short story by Joe Hill, and was the spark to bring it to the screen there from the start?
I read it the year that it was published. I think the month that it was published. I just found it in a bookstore and pulled it off a bookshelf store and read the first short story in the anthology. It was called 20th Century Ghosts. Thought it was brilliant, so I bought the book. And then when I read the rest of the book, The Black Phone just really stood out to me as an amazing idea for a film. And what it was that was amazing to me about it was that it combined a kind of serial killer story with a ghost story. And it did it all in one basement. I'd never seen anything like that. You know, a couple years ago, I had been in therapy, really dealing with my own childhood and the trauma of my childhood, a lot of violence in my childhood, both in my home and in my neighborhood. And I thought, oh, what if I combined my own childhood memories and growing up in North Denver in the late 70s with The Black Phone? Then I realized, aha, that's a good idea, that's gonna work.
When was the first time that you saw Ethan with his masks on, and what was your initial reaction to that?
The first time I saw Ethan, and like the mask was my first day, obviously in the basement. I remember he was walking down the staircase to get ready to film and he had the mask on. I just kind of stood there like, oh my God.
Sag mir deinen Namen.
Taylor.
Ich fing wirklich an, dich zu mögen. Finney. Ich hätte dich fast gehen lassen.
I really felt, as soon as I saw the masks and I understood what Scott was doing with them, I knew the movie was gonna work. The mask is always changing. That's what was so unique about it. How we picked each mask for each scene informed the performance. It was terrifying all by itself. There's something about, why is someone hiding? What are they hiding? You know, that makes our brains turn in on itself.
I knew that the masks were going to be as important to the film as anything else. I have Ethan, I want to be able to see some of him some of the time. So I came up with the idea of 3 masks and each of them split in half. And then it became interesting to try to figure out what's the reason for him wearing each mask in each individual scene.
This year, the audience recently saw your performance as Arthur Harrow on Moon Knight and now as the Grabber on The Black Phone. Can we expect more evil roles from you?
I don't know, you know, it's interesting because the Moon Knight wasn't really a villain the way this is. You know, Arthur Harrow thinks of himself as a good person. He thinks he's the superhero for goodness, whereas the Grabber is just a downright monster. I don't know, I think unfortunately the life of an actor, as you get older, they want to push you into being a bad guy, which might say something about how we view aging in this world, but I like it because it just creates more dynamic roles for me to care. It's like a new stage in my career.